Jay from Team DMA coming at you with another video. So this video is going to be regarding again the Dark Magician. So as you know, I had already retired it, but there's people who are asking me for some combo plays or also like profiles, like different profiles. So it's my duty to what to yeah, to answer the questions or to help, to give advice, to supply supply to the demand. That's just why I'm here. I'm not here for any other reason. So there was a new Discord member who joined recently. So he hasn't picked his nickname yet, but we're just gonna go with GoldenEye for now. He does have gold on one of his profiles name, so I'm just gonna add I to it. GoldenEye. Sounds pretty cool, but he was requesting a profile, like an updated Dark Magician style profile, and he was playing more along the lines of like the typical Dark Magician since like 2021, 2022, which is just a basic lineup of the village with the Dragoon, and that's all you're really doing. Everything else is really nothing. People can argue and say that's a lie, it has a lot more to give, but they're lying because when you go to their channels, the profiles, there's nothing happening. All it is the village and a Dragoon. So I thought I'd make a spicy deck for him, for GoldenEye, because he did request it and he had some ideas on what to add to the deck. So what I did was I removed a lot, if not all the traps. Like a lot of traps got removed. So I think the deck has like 3 traps. I can remove them all to where there's none. You don't really need them. They're just there for combos and whatnot. And we're gonna be talking about that. But I have to finish this video. But basically, the deck is some of the AC 130 followed up with Village and more draw power. So more draw power consisting of the typical AC 130, and on top of all of that, Allure of Darkness. So I'm not really a fan of Allure of Darkness because you're already banishing cards and your opponents are banishing cards on top of that. Also, I think right now it's okay because of Kashtira going to be slowing down a bit. But I mean, there's a lot of decks that are already banishing a lot of your cards. So you don't want to banish more. It's not okay. The only way to go around that is doing 3 playsets of everything. 3, 3, 3, 3. Like 3 Soul Servant, 3 Rod, 3 Chaos, 3 Dark Magician, 3 everything. 3. Everything's 3. And that way you don't really feel it. They can banish one and then you can banish the other. You still have one left. And it's not like you're banishing the same card. Sometimes you're banishing a random of one of the playsets. And so here's gonna be a short combo so that you can see it. So it doesn't matter if you summon Dragoon or not. You're still gonna be having a multiple negations on the board. It's an AC 130 fuse with a requested typical Dark Magician deck. So we're gonna go ahead and playing here. So we're gonna go ahead and start it up. So we're gonna have to play the prep. From there, you're gonna be getting the Illusion of Chaos, followed up with the Illusion of Chaos and the typical line of the Rod. Normal summon Rod, trigger effect, get Salvation, trigger the Salvation. Obviously, if you paid attention, after we finished that combo, we ended up sending Chaos back into the top of the deck. Then from there, setting the Eternal Soul. We're gonna go ahead and follow that up with the allures. I don't recommend people with the allures because a lot of the players, what they're doing is they're hitting the allures with no darks in their hand and they're just like praying that the cards that they draw are dark. But it's not a good idea because Allure of Darkness has a requirement. So if we look at the card here before we go forward, Allure of Darkness says draw 2 cards, then banish 1 dark monster from your hand, or if you don't have any in your hand, send your entire hand to the graveyard. So it does have a requirement, and I've been teaching Dark Magician players for the last 4 years, especially in the advanced classes that I do, like Dark Magician players that end up becoming like famous YouTubers, like 5,000, 10,000 subscribers and whatnot. You have to be careful with the cards that have requirements, because if you don't meet the requirements, they become dead cards. So essentially, in a way, it is a brick card. Whether you believe it or not, it does not matter. The truth is, it's a brick card. So at this point, you're already messing with your deck because you ended up banishing the Bestial line. So this opens up a lot of combos, but at this point, nobody cares. And especially, we don't know if we're going to be drawing Dark Magician, so I ended up keeping the Apprentice, right? So we're going to be triggering here from the, what's it called? The Terraforming. And then Terraforming, you're going to be drawing what you want. And once the deck is already thinned out, because a lot of people don't understand, there's a sequence to Dark Magician. Whether you want to believe it or not, that doesn't matter at all. The truth is there's a sequence. So the sequence says draw everything you can. And once you're finished drawing, like you can't draw anymore, then you activate your searchers, like the circle. Because a lot of people, what they do is they hit the circle at the beginning, and you don't have a lot of cards that circle can draw out. Because if you do, then your deck's going to be bricky and you're going to lose. Because The people who play at top tier level, no circle is trash. Eternal's trash. Everything's basically trash. So the way that you can make it not trash is to have a bunch of negations and interruptions, like 6 or more. So using my deck establish 9 easily, even through negation. So that's what you want to do first. You want to draw as many cards as you can. Then after that, you're going to hit the circle, because the percentage of drawing something through the circle increases, especially if you have a goblin or like the spellbook that you can purposely draw more into the deck after you hit the circle. So after we drew everything and we couldn't draw anymore, then we hit the circle and we pulled out the Dark Magician. So now we don't need the Princess, but that doesn't matter. So we're gonna go ahead and go into the typical lineup of the Artemis, the Moon Maiden, and then you already know this combo with the Dark Magician either in the graveyard or in your hand. So they're not gonna be able to banish it because he's not in the graveyard. But you'll see the high number of spells, though. You know, it's like Sky Striker, like Rune, like all those decks. So your opponent's not going to be able to be playing any spells. So at this point, there isn't much he can do, because when you trigger any of the traps, you can get the rod back to your hand. So that's going to either bait them, like with the right hand, thinking you don't have another spellcaster, but you can also banish, and then there can only be one. And then they're not going to be going over the Dark Magician, because at this point, the Dark Magician is similar to a Dragoon. No spells, and you can banish, and there can only be one. It's even more broken than a Dragoon, because a Dragoon, all it has is one Avni negate, and then it can be destroyed by card fix. That's all it has. But if you can play something that will go around that, like that will go around, what's it called? That will go around, that don't target, then they can get rid of your Dragoon. But this field is way more powerful. I prefer this field than Dragoon. That's how the AC 130 is built. The AC 130 is built to have somewhere around 3 to 9 negations per turn against you. And that doesn't even include Dragoon. Dragoon's just an extra. Because what people do is they go the other way. They don't want to establish 6 to 9 negates against you. All they want to do is Dragoon. And what people do not comprehend, Dragoon is trash to tier 0 decks. And I'm telling you guys the truth. This has nothing to do with bias or someone told me or what I think, what I feel. Zero to do with that. It's just a plain reality. Like, once you start going into tier 0, you'll understand what I'm talking about. You'll never win a duel. So the way to do it is having 6 to 9 negates. Then that changes the playing field. Because then the tier 0 deck is trash to you. There's no way he can beat you. And you want to have Dragoon as the cherry on the top, not the actual main boss monster. So the opponent's gonna go. Obviously, he can't play any spells, so he has some of these duelists that, like Jake 4R3, and there was, I think, another 3 different players. They were playing Pearly. One of them was playing Runic and stuff like that. There was a guy who was playing Sky Striker. So you already know, with the village up in the field and the spellcaster, there's really it's really an auto win. Like, whether you want to argue or not, none of those things matter. It's just the fact. Like, it has nothing to do with an opinion, what you feel, what you think. It's just a straight fact. It's an auto win. There's nothing they can do. They know they're wasting your time. They're gonna be gone. So just like this guy playing the Pearly, playing the Runic, or playing the Sky Strikers, they're gone. There's nothing they can do, because all the cards in the hand are spells. They can't play any. So if you're gonna argue and say, oh well, what if they do have a spellcaster? Well, there's nothing they can do, because you're gonna be banishing it. And then even if they do have a lineup monsters and like a Pearly, and you think that they're gonna start doing something, they're not, because there can only be one. That's a wrap. So some people are gonna be normal summoning attack on the, what's it called, on the Artemis. So what you're gonna be doing is triggering the circle, and there's nothing they can do about it. Even Bestial won't help them. So what's gonna be happening is you're going to chain to banish their monster, and then from there trigger the rod, get the Artemis to your hand, or if you don't want it, just leave it like that, and you're gonna banish the card. Their battle phase is over. Me personally, I would recommend banishing the card in the back, because you don't want an evenly matched or nothing like that to resolve. What you could do next turn is draw into the Dark Magic attack and just blow it away off the bat from the beginning. So basically, he's wasting your time. There's nothing he can do. He's frozen, and it has nothing to do with the village. You just have a lot of follow up to it. So let's count it. So the village counts for 2 negations. People are gonna argue and say it's not true. Because in technical terms, if this guy's playing 3 to 4 negates, spells, that's 4 negates. You have 4 negates with village. So the minimum amount that you can count it as is 2 negates. And the same thing for the skill drain. They usually count for 2 negates, because it doesn't matter how many you negate. Sometimes you negate 5, but the minimum is 2 negates. So the village being 2 negates, and then you have 3 interruptions. So we're gonna count them. This one's 1, 2 negates, and then the interruptions 1, 2, 3, and then you have 4 with what's it called, Princess Illusion. They're not going to be hitting you past 4,500 of attack, believe me. And in case you're wondering what I'm talking about the basic Eternal Circle combo with Dark Vision coming out, banishing the back card. And then when they try to attack over him, it's not happening. You're going to discard Prentice. He's going to be going at 4,500. The game is finished. It's over. So counting it again, total mixed together, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6. So you have 5 interruptions. I'm sorry, you have 2 negations and 4 interruptions. This is a basic play. It wasn't even complicated. You didn't even break a sweat. It was easy to make it, and this deck can establish 9. Later on, like as you move forward, there's going to be 4 to 5 Omni negates on the board, together with about 4 to 6. So you're going to be doing close to 10, actually, 10 negations. And if you include the spells, like if you count all the spells, like let's say he has 4 or 5 spells, or even the card face down, all of those 6 cards are negated, so you're way over 10 negates. So here's a profile example. So GoldenEye, you know who you are. This is the profile for you. If you want this profile, I have it built for you. If you want to get the profile, like in real life, if you want to get it, I have the profile for you built already. I don't agree with the Allure of Darkness, like I said, but I mean, you gotta give people what they want. That is also a fact, you know. So I would recommend removing one of the allures to leave 2 only, because I mean, having 3 allures and banishing 3 cards, that's a lot. And I like to be realistic, so I gotta end the video right now. But honestly, there's decks like the Mirror Match, or when you do against Pendulum, and there's a lot of decks that play spellcasters like the Dogmatica. So the Village is basically dead. Like, you're playing it for no reason. They're gonna out it. It's trash, and that's why I don't trust the Village. So the only time I play Village is on the side when I'm going against Pearly, Runic, Sky Strikers as a going first card. When I know what I'm dueling against, like those decks, so it's an auto win against them. But I don't like it as a main deck card, because when you run into those duels, that card could be utilized for something else, like a way to make Dragoon, or a way to chain draw more, stuff like that. So that's pretty much it. Hopefully you guys liked the video. Comment and subscribe on this if you want more content like this. Videos, profiles being made, requested by specific people. It doesn't matter if you're part of Team DMA or not. You can request anything, and I cater to everyone as long as people are serious and they want to learn. This channel is not like other channels where what is it called? Too important to answer every message. Like, obviously, when there's like 10,000 messages, that's different. But as long as it doesn't get past like 10 messages per day, I don't mind answering the questions or making a profile. Also, there's a lot of people helping me, specifically special thanks to Matrix. He helps me a lot on all the profiles, proofing the profiles. He helps me out on a lot of things, so special thanks to him. He was on the winning giveaway, so thanks a lot, Matrix. And that's pretty much it. With that having been said, you guys, Dark Magic Attack.